Welcome to Mindfulness. We're going to do. Welcome to Mindfulness. We are going to learn how to apply breathing techniques to promote self-connection and peace of mind for our students. We're going to teach them to engage all five senses to practice mindfulness. We're going to talk about self-talk and to make empowered decisions, and finally generate choice about how we perceive the world. Lesson 1. We're going to start with the opening question, address some breathing techniques, and practice breath and focus. Question 1. When do you notice your breath? I like that question. All right, then we'll practice some breathing techniques. Ask, what do you know about mindfulness? Share, the most common mindfulness practice is noticing your breath. Share 5 different strategies for noticing your breath. Technique 1, have students count to 4 as they breathe in and count again as they breathe out. So you want to demonstrate that with the students and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, and exaggerate it so that they can see that. Do that for maybe 30 seconds and ask them how they felt afterwards. Technique 2. Notice that when you naturally switch from breathing in to breathing out and go from breathing out to breathing in. So here you're not counting, you're just getting into that mindfulness eye, behind, noticing what's going on in the body without counting. And you notice, you probably don't know what's going on in my head there, right? But what's happening in my head is I'm just noticing, oh, I breathed in, and you could say that to the students, and then I was breathing out. So you're not forcing it, you're not choosing it, you're letting the body operate on its own and letting the mind observe the body in its breath, okay? And then afterwards, notice, how do you feel? Not longer than 30 seconds, I would say. If they're experienced, you could do more, but I would start 30 seconds. Technique 3, this one works quite a lot. Place hands on the stomach and notice how the stomach expands. So this is more tactile, right? Notice how the stomach expands with an in-breath and retracts when breathing out. And again, do that for 30 seconds. Kid, you can do that with 2 hands, 1 hand, and I encourage you to do that with the students. It'll help with connection. It'll help them do that. Technique 4, lift the elbows out upwards about 1 inch on the in-breath, and relax the elbows on the out breath. So again, we're just focusing a little bit on what the body would do with the breath. Great, and do that for 30 seconds. And finally, technique 5, ask students to use one finger to slowly trace the outside of the thumb. This is my absolute favorite activity. On the outside of the thumb of the opposite hand, start on the outside to the bottom, finish at the top. As students trace the outside of the thumb, ask them to take a deep breath in, and then have students trace the inside of the thumb going top to bottom and ask them to breathe out. And you're going to repeat this going up and down. This, again, the touch makes a big difference. And you don't want to say how important this is yet. Just ask them to notice how they feel afterwards. But this is a technique they can use, the 5-finger breath. It's very popular whenever people are upset, have anxiety, need to focus. An incredible tool. All of them are great. For me, technique 5 is great. And you can ask students, hey, which one did you enjoy the most? You can have them rank it. Rank your mindfulness training. Okay, for all these activities, students need to give their attention only to their breath. Tell students that when their minds wander, simply notice the wandering mind and bring their attention back to breathing. So no worries if they start thinking about other things. You can admit that happens to you. And actually, the practice is just bringing your attention back to your breath. Practice each technique one at a time for 1 minute. I said 30 seconds. I guess 1 minute I said in the book. And after each practice session, ask students to reflect on their experience. Okay. Afterwards, how does your body and mind feel after these activities? And you can also ask, when would you use these activities? And you can say, even tell students, give me one time that you're going to use this between now and the next day. Okay, activity 3 is breath and focus. Here we use the breath to help us focus. Ask students to choose their favorite breathing technique. You know mine, 5 fingers. Tell students they will be interspersing reading for 5 minutes with their favorite technique of mindful breathing. Now, it doesn't have to be reading. I'm an English teacher of 20 years, so of course I go there. But it can be any academic activity, and then intersperse it with mindful breathing. The purpose of the activity is to notice the effect of breathing mindfully on a student's ability to focus. Tell students to read a shared text or independently, and after 5 minutes, tell students to stop reading and use their favorite technique for breathing mindfully for 1 minute. Tell students to return to reading for those 5 minutes. So you want to announce this so everybody's doing it together. Don't have them do it independently because it's hard to keep track of. After 5 minutes, tell students to stop reading and use the same breathing technique for 1 minute, and then have students read for 5 minutes one last time. So you're doing it again and again and again, and Yeah, you can do this for a whole period. You can repeat this lesson a lot, and they'll use this really probably for the rest of their lives. And variation is apply the mindfulness practice to a different activity, so it doesn't have to be just reading. It could be something physical or any other content area. And then ask, what impact did mindful breathing have on you? And then the homework is stop and just notice your breath for 1 minute and notice what effect this has on you just once. And then next day, ask them, how did that go? All right.